Peace and blessings, family. It is yours truly, Amar Mari. I am the founder of El Kebalan Unity Alliance. My queen, Amani Mari, is the co-founder. And we focus on your spiritual, your physical, and your financial well-being. We thank everybody so much for your love and support, for all those who have joined us on YouTube and Instagram. We thank you so much for your love and support. For those of you who would like to join the El Kebalan Unity Alliance family, feel free to join us on YouTube. It's very simple, El Kebalan Unity Alliance. On Instagram, you can find us El Kebalan_Unity_Alliance for this life transforming content. And that's what we're here to do. It's not about fame, it's about transforming lives. And that's what our platform is here. Our attitude is servitude. We're here to serve you. Also, we're here to learn from you as well. So we would love for you to partner with us and let us serve together. We all have gifts. I don't know everything, and I don't know nobody who does. But I do definitely feel that if we all come together and bring together what we know, and when we share what we know, and those who share what they know, as long as it's wise, if we implement it, then we all can grow. And that's what this is really all about. It's about us growing and going to another level. I do not deal with anything, okay, that doesn't cause me to grow. That's just the bottom line. Even in my own life, if I find it to be intoxicating, then I need to detox that from my life. I have to flush that from out of my mind, okay, and from my heart. You know, I want to be lighthearted. Okay, I want to be open-minded. Okay, I don't want to be judgmental. Okay, I personally strive to grow in love and to share the information that I have learned and disseminate that information in love. And that's my desire, is to do so and to see all of us get delivered from ourselves and also get delivered from mentalities that keep us incarcerated and keep us from walking in our greatness. And that's what this program is all about, is to channel in positive energy and to help us to grow spiritually together and for us to walk in our purpose in our life. And so we have to tap into our higher self. And what is that higher self? It is your spirit. That's exactly what the higher self is. And so this is about a higher path. And I had a discussion with my little brother today, man. He passed some very powerful information to me. And so we don't want to be so spiritual to where we forget that also there's a natural realm. And he shared some powerful information with me that is life transforming, though. That is life transforming, though. Okay, so I don't entertain anything. I will shut you down very quickly if you're coming to me with anything that is not going to help me to grow in the area of my spiritual, my physical, my financial wellness. If it doesn't connect with those three major tiers in life, I don't want anything to do with it. To me, it's garbage. And that's really just the bottom line. Again, if it doesn't make me grow, then it has to go. Okay? It has to go. All right? And that's information and that's people. Okay? If I can't grow, then you have to go. Okay? And that's just the bottom line. So that's the mindset we have to have when we start walking the higher path. We have to guard our mind and our heart. From out of it flows the issues of life. Okay? So our mind is the navigation system to our life. And so in order for us to get to that higher path, we have to have a higher consciousness. And how do we get the higher consciousness? We have to have accurate information that is spiritually infused. Why? Because you are spirit. So you need spiritual food for your soul to help you to have a healthy spirit, you need information that if you implement that, it'll be nutritional, if you will, for you. Okay, it's healthy for your spiritual diet, your spiritual man. It strengthens your mind. Okay, and this is the reason why we need to do spiritual mind exercises, to strengthen our mind. So when we go into a fight spiritually, okay, you have to be mentally prepared, just like in the physical sense. Okay, I remember I listened to a UFC fighter talk about how his opponent got him because he wasn't in good shape. He wasn't in good shape at all. Okay, and also he was tired. He was worn out. Why? Because he wasn't diet properly. He wasn't exercising properly. So when he got into the ring to fight, he wasn't ready. And his opponent got the upper hand on him because he failed to do what he needed to do, and that is to train properly, and not only to train properly, but to eat properly. Okay, it's like somebody who is on a treadmill and they're riding a bike. And I want to send a shout out to my good brother Reese Rance out there in the building. Thank you so much for tuning in, my friend. And they're on the treadmill, they're riding the bike, they're running, but they're smoking. So that's counterproductive. So if you're trying to grow spiritually, you can't be intoxicating yourself with toxic things and expecting you to become spiritually strong and to be able to war with life. Okay? And to be able to intellectually tangle, if you will, with those who have done their research. Okay? And if you have not done yours, unfortunately, some of us will buy into the information that has been sold to us because we're not mentally prepared to be able to deal with those things. All right? So we have to be spiritually fit. We have to spiritually exercise our spirit man, and we do that by us putting the right information into our consciousness. Okay? If we do not do that, Michael Neal, King Michael Neal, thank you for tuning in, my big brother. Queen Donna, thank you for tuning in. If we do not exercise our consciousness, and if you would be so kind, wherever you're tuning in from, drop your information in there. Let me know where you're from. And also, if you have any information that you would like to share with the masses in regards to any type of literature that you think that will be good for them to read, feel free to drop a note in there as well. Any other videos and links that you feel like will help people to mature spiritually. Again, the door is open. We're here to grow together. Okay, so as I was saying, all right, we have to stop being counterproductive in our lives and understand that there is a higher path. A lot of us, we get stuck in our Afrocentric culture, okay? And we get stuck in just the learning the language, wearing the clothes. A lot of us are involved in activism, okay, revolutionary work. And we pump our fists in the air. We go to these meetings. We all come together, okay? But what I'm noticing is a lot of us is lacking in the area of our spiritual well-being. Listen, I want you to understand this. If you are of African descent, okay, if you are African, you must understand that when you really truly have evolved in your consciousness, you understand that there's more than meets the eye. Not that, hear me again. I said this earlier. For those who didn't hear me say it, I'm going to repeat it so you don't think that I'm so spiritually bound that I'm no earthly good. Okay? I'm not saying that you don't need to be savvy to how this world works. What I'm telling you is don't get caught up in the web to where you forget that there's a spiritual aspect about being an African. Here's what I'm saying. A lot of us, we stop, okay, at inventions and Afrocentric study teachers. We made a visit to Africa. We have gotten in touch with who we are in the natural sense. But I see that some people's lives have not transformed to the point where they can help to set people free mentally. We must understand that connected to an African who is detached from colonization, okay, and from racist ideologies, one who is truly tapped in to who they truly are transcends their ethnicity, and they began to understand that I am a spiritual being. Why do I say this? Anybody who practices Ifa and Voodoo, okay, any spiritual systems such as that, knows that it's about exercising your spirit. We learn to practice Uwa Pele, meaning having good character, gentle character. We learn how to be lighthearted. We understand that there is a spiritual aspect that influences the natural realm that we are in. What is behind a drug addict? What is behind alcoholism? It is mental issues that people who turn to alcoholism and drugs, they try to handle spiritual problems with natural substances. Emotional eaters, they use physical things to try to solve problems. We have people who have been molested, raped, abandoned, verbally abused, physically abused. Okay, sexually assaulted. We have people with low self-esteem. And I'm talking about beyond not knowing who they are as it relates to being an African. I'm talking about people who don't know who they are. They have an identity crisis of knowing that they're spiritual first. Before you're an African, you're a spiritual being. Your spirit is your higher self. Your spirit is the higher consciousness. And a lot of us are dressing up on the outside, but what's going on the inside? I'm going to just be frank with you. Some people, they call these things that I speak of, they call it spookism. They call it fiction. Some will even say that it's foolishness. But anybody such as myself who has experienced and supernatural encounter, who has dealt with negative energy forces, people who have been possessed by spirits, okay, and having seen people who have been delivered from these things through spiritual activity, I personally, as well as those who I'm associated with, who has dealt with these things, we all know. Those of us who have visions and dreams and had encounters from our ancestors, who have had an encounter with angels, okay, we all understand that there is more than meets the eye. There is a higher level for us to get to, other than just us knowing that I'm from the Asante people, I'm from the Dogon people, I'm from, the Bantu. All that's wonderful. Kudos, I'm not knocking that. Okay? But once you find out who invented what, once you find out about Black Wall Street and that we owned our own and all those wonderful things, and that is empowering information. However, what about life transforming information that's going to help you to evolve in your consciousness and help you to get delivered in your life to where you can truly be liberated? Because true liberation first starts in the mind. Okay? I'm being frank with you, and there's no disrespect. It's wonderful. We do good deeds. I salute any brothers and sisters who is helping our people to be introduced to our culture and helping us to become financially literate and teaching us about, unity and love and loving ourselves and all those things like that. But do we really love ourselves? Do we really love ourselves? Do we really truly love each other? Where is the unity at? Why is it that because you and I can't see eye to eye on certain things, we can't have a interconnection with one another? What's really going on? Because, see, to be frank with you, I'm seeing a form of unity. It appears that there is unity. But let me just be frank with you. Our approach and the way we talk about our fellow brothers and sisters that are lost, I don't hear love, and I don't see love in our delivery. Okay? And to be frank with you too, I'm just going to tell you the way it is. A lot of times I go to these various events, I keep hearing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. We keep complaining about what we're not doing. And we keep talking, okay, we need to do this. And we're just coming together in different cities and different nations and complaining and complaining and complaining. But let's talk about the solutions to the problems. I understand the problem has to be addressed first, but what I'm hearing is a lot of problematic stuff. The racist is the way the racist is because they've been brainwashed. We are the way we are because we've been brainwashed. And what's going to purge our minds and what's going to cleanse us is teaching about ourselves, but understand learning about ourselves is beyond understanding that we're an African. Learning about ourselves is actually who we are internally and what is our life path. Why are we here? It's certainly not for us to always keep coming together and complaining all the time. Whose life is going to be transformed by complaining all the time and whining all the time? It's time for us to come up with some true healing solutions that will truly heal our social ills. And a part of it is beyond financial problems. It's beyond us not knowing who we are as an African. It's where we are at spiritually as well. And I'm going to tell you straight up, we have to be woken up. Yes, we have to be cleaned up. Okay. But how do we get cleaned up? What is really being cleaned up? Isn't it more to it than just changing our name from uh, a Eurocentric name to an African name? Yeah, you change your name and it shows that there's some. It shows that there is some. The word I'm looking for is slipping my mind. There is some progress. There we go. Okay, it shows that there's some progress. Yes, it does. But when you truly listen to me very closely, when somebody truly evolves in their mind, when they're listening to you, they know whether or not you truly evolved or not. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Any mature spiritual teacher that is in touch with his or her culture, that is African, truly knows when you truly have tapped in, because you start understanding that we must walk in the spirit. And that the war that we fighting too is forces that's behind these things that's happening. And for us to think that it's not nothing supernatural behind what's happened to us on a global scale. Okay, if you don't think that there's something behind driving a person to get drunk and to get high and to commit suicide. Okay? Suicide meaning killing ourselves. There's something behind us killing each other. And it's beyond racism. Okay, it's a force behind, okay, that racist agenda. It's a negative energy force. Yes, it is. It's a dark force. What would drive a man to molest a young woman? What would drive a man, okay, to traffic women and to kidnap women? Okay? What would drive a man to physically abuse a woman? We could keep thinking that the supernatural realm is not real. If we want to, that's a bad case of psychosis, because the realization is that it is a force behind some of these things that we're warring against. Why do you think? And listen to me very closely. And this is a rhetorical question. Okay? It's something I want you to think about. Why do you think that they did not want us to use our spirituality? Okay? If there was no significance to spirituality and there was no power in spirituality, then why did they cut us off from our spirituality? A lot of us understand they were afraid of what would happen to them, far as our ancestors using our spiritual system, our magic, and putting something on them spiritually, like Duty Boatman did and Queen Nanny. Do you understand Shaka Zulu? A lot of people talk about Shaka Zulu, but a lot of people need to understand Shaka Zulu was a spiritual warrior. We need to understand the Maroons, they were spiritual warriors. Duty Boatman was a spiritual warrior. Ya Asantewa was a spiritual warrior. They weren't just, just warriors and we praise them. A lot of people don't understand. They followed after their spiritual systems. They subscribe to their spiritual systems. There's power to this. I'm telling you right now, I've done my altar work. I'm not telling you that you're not going to face trials, because you turn to your spirituality, you won't go through anything. Listen, that'll be a hoax. Okay? You still going to have trials in this life. No, that anybody tell you that you won't, they lying. Okay? But when you're spiritually strong and you're going through mental warfare, it gives you the strength to stand. and to be able to fight. And not only that, to know how to fight and what to use to fight against what you're up against, and to know that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, and rulers of darkness, against spiritual wickedness in high places. It is the truth. And some people could say, oh, not like something in the air. Yeah, you know why they say that? Because they haven't dealt what I dealt with exercising a demon before. Some of you not ready for this. And see, I noticed, I'm telling you, family, I noticed this. A lot of people who have not had no spiritual encounters, or who think they're spiritual encounters, oh, those just coincidences. These are the main ones that spin their wheels and don't get any traction in their life. They're always dealing with racism all the time. They can't get beyond that. They can't get beyond that. They can't get beyond certain activists that did this and did that. There is more to being an African than that. There's a spiritual walk that an African walks that has gotten in touch with. Truly, when the ancestors guide you, they will lead you to your spirituality. And you will understand that when you really truly have found you, you will find the inner you. And you will no longer entertain certain conversations. In fact, guess what? You will know who your audience is. And you will know people who you come even to a conversation with. You'll know who to talk to certain things about. Because some of us, we sing to the choir. Some of us don't even understand you can't save anybody. People have to save themselves. You cannot save anybody, family. You can't. You cannot save anybody. You can say, oh, I'm going to say, you cannot save anybody. Do you understand? I hope you understand this. You're going to wear yourself out trying to save somebody. You cannot save anybody. The reason why I'm delivered today, you know what? Because nobody saved me, is because I saved myself. How did I do that? By the choices that I made in my life. Again, it's accurate information and the implementation of that information that will transform your life spiritually, physically, and financially. I'm not refuting that we need to learn about ourselves. I'm not refuting that we don't need to see ourselves in literature. I'm not refuting that, we need our own curriculum that caters to the African. But guess what else is caters to the African? The African spirit. How can you believe in the ancestors? How can you say, I subscribe to that the ancestors are with us and they are in our DNA and all these other things, but you can't subscribe to the spiritual realm? Because the ancestors are spirits. Their energy forces that protect is beyond being in your DNA. It's beyond being in your DNA. When you had dreams like me and you seen your grandmother in the spirit, and then you talk to one of your elders and they say, oh, she came and visited me too. Come on now. Really? Really? Two different people on different occasions seeing this being, but that's a hoax. Oh, that's not real. Well, I'm not here to argue with you about it. The only thing I'm here is to tell you that I know what I know. And this I do know, that there's more to your life than what you think. This I do know. This I do know. If you just keep feeding yourself that type of information, you will get no traction in your life where you need to be at mentally, because you won't even know how to deal with the situations that you find out about what happened to us via the races. You won't even know how to handle that. You'll be a person walking around bitter and angry all the time. How long are you going to be angry? You won't even know how to manage your anger properly if you don't deal with spiritual balance. If you don't deal with balance, then you will not know how to deal with the situations that we are dealing with, that we are facing. And then you will start categorizing a whole group of people in one category. You won't be able to even pay attention to the ones who don't believe in racism, the ones who do fight, the ones who do stand up. You'd be so bitter you can't even pay attention to that. You can't even recognize it because you so angry, you so bitter about what happened to us and what is happening to us. You can't even think in a free way. You can't even judge a person according to their character rather than their ethnicity. You can't even see the Jan Elliots and the Father Flaglers and that young lady named Heather who laid her life on the line in Charlottesville, I believe it was Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. And who her mother stood before, that young lady mother stood before the Congress and told them that racism is wrong and that she does not support the way that they're treating us. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. But when you say stuff like that, people are so brainwashed in this so-called conscious community to where, oh, he or she loves Whitey. It's sad. It's sad that people are so messed up mentally and so full of bitterness to where they can't even think straight. They can't even make a sound judgment. And if you don't conglomerate all those people in one category, then something is wrong with you. Don't even pay attention to that the minister is connected to, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is connected to some of the Ashkenazis. And he has said with his own mouth that all of them are not like that. See, if we're not careful, we'll get so messed up. Oh, y'all better get ready for war. Everybody better get ready for war. Okay, well, if you believe that that's going to happen so much, why don't you have armor on your windows then? Why don't you have Constantine wire out in the front of your house and Jersey barriers out in front of your house and security guards all around you all the time? You know what I'm saying? And why don't you drive around in a tank? Why don't you have an AT-4 in your house that is going to be a weapon that you can use that can blow up a tank? Because a 9mm and an A4, okay, and understand this, I come from a military background. An AT-4 could take out a helicopter, it could take out a tank, but it can't, listen, a 9mm and an M16, okay, and the AK, or that little assault rifle you have, not going to do nothing when it comes to a tank and it comes to a plane flying over your house. Since you know people are so messed up, they don't understand that they got themselves into an incarcerated state. They don't understand that they're mentally ill. You think every last Caucasian person against you? Some people have a mental illness. They think everybody against them. And if a brother and sister not talking the way they want them to talk, not dressing the way they want them to dress, oh, it's a problem. And then we totally forget about once upon a time, not long ago, you was a drug dealer, you was a gangster, you didn't care about certain things. So that lets me know that pride is sunk in. Pride is sunk in because now, you know, it's a problem. That everybody not dressing like you and not thinking like you and, you know, and just a whole bunch of complaining and whining and crying. Listen, man, listen. People can only live what they know. That's it. And until they wake up, they're going to still continue to be the same person that you know until they grow here mentally. And when we understand that there's a higher path, when we understand that once we find these things out, we just share it and that's it. It's up to people to receive it or to reject it. I don't try to persuade anybody about anything. You know what I do? I speak from my own personal experience. Okay, listen, just because somebody doubts what's being said doesn't mean that it's not true. That's why I don't waste my time with that. I could care less if somebody don't think that it's true or not, because I know it to be true because my own personal experience. I can't prove to you something I've experienced supernaturally. What sense would that make? The only thing I could do is share with you my experiences with the supernatural. That's it. I can't prove to you, you know what I'm saying, that I experienced that. I can only share with you and tell you this is the reason why I say that there is a higher path. This is the reason why I say that the ancestors will answer you and they will come to you in dreams. This is the reason why I say I believe in miracles. This is the reason why I say these things. It's because I have experienced these things, so I can bear witness. Why? Because I've had an experience. So I'm here to say, because I can bear witness being a practitioner of our spirituality, that supernatural things will happen. I can also bear witness that just because you follow after our spirituality doesn't mean that you're not going to have challenges in your life. But I can also bear witness that if you pray and you meditate and you study and you apply these principles that we learn from our spiritual systems, that you will be mentally stable, you'll be mentally healthy, and that you will be championed in situations that you will be confronted with that are spiritual or even physical or verbal attacks. This is all I'm saying. I'm not going to sell you any false hopes like some people do. I'm not going to do that. And I will not act like I don't know about the spiritual realm just so people won't think that I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay? You know, and I lost my Fruity Pebbles. You know what I'm saying? You know, and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So I refuse to not walk my path and not share this information to help people to evolve, to understand that there is a higher level in life. Okay? And I'm going to tell you something right now. You will be antagonized by people who are stuck. This is one thing I do know. They're very judgmental, very dogmatic, and will attack you and will detach yourself from you and call you an Uncle Tom and a sellout, and you know, all because you don't get caught up in all that hype all the time. The only thing I know is this. I guarantee you this, and this just with wisdom from experience. You keep putting that mess in you and you're going to have a messy life. I'm going to say it again. If you keep putting mess in you, I promise you, you will have a messy life. Get truly in tune with who you really are. And once you do, when you have a higher consciousness, you will be on a higher level and you'll walk a higher path, and that is your life path. What is your assignment here in this earth? That's the higher path. Why are you here? Who are you really beyond this person that you see in the mirror? Because this is just a earth suit. No, who are you inside? Because there's a lot of people walking around brain dead. Yeah, brain dead. You know, somebody hooked up to a machine and they're brain dead, and the body is still going just because of that machine. Yeah, it's a lot of people that's the living dead around here. They think they know. And I'm gonna just keep it real. They think they know. Birds of a feather flock together. When you understand these things, if anybody understand these things and know what I'm talking about, they know that birds of a feather is true. You fly together. What I'm saying, buzzards don't fly with eagles. Buzzards cannot fly at the height of an eagle. So people who think on that level, guess what they're going to continue to do? They're going to continue to come together. They're going to continue to spin their wheels. They're going to continue to go. And then the rest of us going to keep going just like this. While the rest of them down here still arguing, still complaining, still fussing, still fighting, still attacking each other, you know what I'm saying? And all this other stuff. People who have truly transcended, you know what they're going to do? They're going to leave that circle, and they're going to get right up here. And they're going to follow after Ifa. They're going to follow after voodoo. They're going to follow after their spirit man. And they're going to start detaching themselves from intoxicating things and start freeing their mind and start understanding there's more to life than this. And then that cap on their life is going to come off, and then they're going to go to higher heights and deeper depths in life. Their family is going to be prospering, just like ours. Their family is going to start being free, just like ours. We have family members coming to consciousness. They're starting to get their own businesses. They're starting to connect with their own spirituality. This is the reason why I'm not going to get into no debate with anybody about what I am. I don't care what you think about what I am. I know who I am. What you think about me don't matter. What I think about me is what matters. And that's the higher path. That's the higher level of consciousness. I don't care what you think about me. You understand? It's not going to stop putting food on my family table, clothes on our back, shoes on our feet. It's not going to stop us from leaving generational wealth to our family. Because we're seeing our lives as being touched through this ministry. So, I could care less. And that's the way you have to be. I can't expect nobody not to think beyond the level of their thought process than where they're at. So I have learned that sometimes you have to remove yourself from that situation in order for you to have elevation so that you can also become a new creation. If it doesn't cause you to grow, and I'm ending on this note, then it needs to go. If it doesn't cause you to grow, then it needs to go. And I thank my good brother Elo for sharing information with me that's helping my family in the natural to be free. My good brother, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. It was a personal conversation between him and I. So I want to thank him so much for coming to me and sharing that information with me to help my family and I to not only just be spiritually free, but also to be financially free. So my brother, I thank the ancestors, and I thank, the Risha for sending you into my life and sharing that information with us to help us to go to another level in this earth, to be able to have heaven on earth and not to have to wait for us to die for us to enjoy our life. So I want to say thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, brother Elo. And also check him out, brother Elo, if you're still on here, man, if you would, please share your business with the people. My brother makes custom made shirts. He does fashion shows and things of that nature as well. I met my brother in person. Him and I, we When we fellowship with another brother and help to patronize his business. My brother that owns brother Bubakar, he owns Ethnic Vibes here in Memphis, Tennessee. So you want to check him out as well. Ethnic Vibes, check him out. He is ETHINIK. Okay. Vibes, VIBE. You can check him out on Facebook, Instagram. Check him out as well. Brother Bobakar, I bought some of the pieces. Our brothers from Senegal. You know, he's doing great things here in the city as well, too. So if you would be so kind, please support our brother, you know what I'm saying, and show him some love to help his family to be able to stay in business, to be able to create generational wealth, and also to be able to hire, you know, people within the community so that they, too, can be able to provide for their families as well. Peace, love, and power.